do this thing. Let's see. Sorry, I was trying to get a few things set up here, and then we'll do some building. All right, cool. There we go. All right, so this one's kind of impromptu and late night for me, so I don't know who all will have joining, but got this in the mail, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. It's the replacement plate for the M0110 board. Hey, what's up, Hove KB? Welcome. So I'm gonna be rebuilding this guy here. This is it's the M0110 kit from, hey, what's up, Neko? From SZN or PBB or BBP or whatever you want to call them, but you know, the Chinese makers of fine EC parts. So we've got that, but more excitingly, we've got a whole stack of other parts from them. So let me see what we got. All right. First things first, we've got domes. So these are an let me get my face off the camera so I can actually show you what we got working on. Hey, what's up, Gunit? Yeah, all right. So here we go. So we got domes, and these are the latest revision from our friends at PBB, Pink Black Black, or Black Black Pink, however you wanna order the name. But so we got these Tiffany ones, which, you know, unlike our friend Des, who Tiffany is 35 gram. For them, this is an exciting new weight. This is 65 gram, which currently there aren't any 65 gram domes out there. And then we've got, you know, your normal 45 gram OEM style. And then finally you've got, you know, 35 gram OEM style, or, you know, whatever. So they're all kind of rounded here. Let me pull some of these out and we'll take a closer look at them, because these are pretty exciting. So for one, the fact that they're doing them in sheets is kind of cool. So yeah, so here's the new 65 gram domes. Yeah, get a little bit of schmutz out of there, but yeah, we've got basically, you know, what is this, 20 domes 5x4. So yeah, they give you 2 alpha sheets, so they basically cover that landscape just by installing those 2 dome sheets. So that's pretty freaking cool. But additionally, they also still sell the strips. So these are, you know, 4 dome strips. So like, if you think about it, you know, you could buy 2 of those, then buy a pack of these, and that would get you your 60. So what's that? 4, 3, and then 1 extra, you know. So yeah, so you could, I mean, what I think the rest of these would all be, yeah, the rest of those would all be individual domes, but for pretty quick, you can throw together a bunch of domes on a plate, and yeah, that'll make it a lot easier. So I definitely appreciate PBB for doing that for us. And I mean, you know, if you're doing ortholinear or something wacky, you know, doing like an Alice board, then yeah, you can still buy the strips, and those will work just fine. But you know, if you're doing anything with an actual alpha layout, you know, that'll save a lot of time. So, you know, I understand the reasoning behind some of the other stuff, like, you know, doing strips or doing the you know, what I think Densist is all one use. You know, that one I'm not as can't really get behind as much, but hey, everybody's got a reason for it, I'm sure. So, you know, we'll see what theirs is. But yeah, I'm digging these domes, just looking at them and sitting there poking at them. We'll see how they do. But the other exciting part is, you know, this guy here. The original M0110 actually had co-star. So let me go ahead and pull a cap off and I can show that. So, you know, originally they all had 1U parts, which means that they didn't have, you know, any kind of like stabilized keys or, you know, spacebar stabilizers. What they did instead were these plate mounted, you know, Co-Star stabilizer setup. So you got the, you know, these little clip-in guys, got the wire, and then you've got these little, you know, Co-Star plugins on the back, which if you look at them, you know, they basically just got, you know, I added those little cutouts. So just to make it easier on installation, because otherwise then you got to fit them on, and then you got to, like, you know, line everything up, and I don't know, it's kind of a pain to tune, but yeah. So they're replacing that. That was the old style, and the new style just has, you know, your standard 2U cutouts, spacebar stab cutouts, and actually give me a second. I'm gonna go grab a beer real quick, because man, I could use a drink. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Yeah, I figure I'd enjoy some of H-Town's own Carbach Love Street there, so. Alright, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've done Co-Star before. It's been a while. It really wasn't that big a deal. Actually, like, I was kind of showing, I cut these little niches out of the back, and that allows you to, like, angle it on and slide it into place and pop it on, so it made installation a lot easier. And honestly, when they were, you know, when they were installed, like, sound wise, I mean, it's not really that bad. Here, let me I mean, and these are unsilenced, so you know, the only keys I lubed were the Co-Star stabs. So everything else. So the spacebar's kind of crummy, but you know, whatever. I'm not the biggest fan of Co-Star. I'm pretty stoked that they've got the 2U parts and the, you know, spacebar stabs and all that. So I think that'll make this process a lot more enjoyable. Now, what doesn't make it enjoyable is the fact that these plates are also, they come untapped by default, which means you have to screw in these standoffs from the top side and then, you know, mount your PCB, you know, install your housings and everything, mount your PCB, and then screw that in from the bottom side. So when a normal, you know, like an HHKB, you only have to screw one way, you basically are doubling the number of screws you're having to do because the plate is not tapped. So that is one downside with these kits, but I mean, for the price, I think they're, you know, what is like 150 bucks maybe, you know, all in. They're not too bad. So yeah, let me go ahead and I need to pull the caps off this, because the first thing we need to do is rip this apart. Hey, what's up, Mikey Coates? Yeah, I kind of took a break there after the holidays. Work ramped up, and I've been on a bunch of projects and working, you know, weird hours, just not really super in the mood for streaming. But yeah, I'm back. So let's look at. I've actually, man, I'm trying to. Oh, there they are. Got a couple other things. While they were sending me, you know, the parts, they also sent me a few freebies. So they sent their new silencing rings, and they actually sent all 3 variants. So they have 0.3 millimeter silencing rings, which are these guys here. And, you know, they're standard Poron. They're, you know, got the plastic backing. So, you know, same thing as you've seen from most other makers. Then they've got a 0.5 millimeter one, which is a little bit thicker. And then they got this bad boy. They got a 1 millimeter. So, you know, they take the jump. They don't do any like 0.7s or any of the others. But yeah, these are pretty thick. So I'm not going to install them on this board because the sliders aren't really Hey, what's up, AK2452 Max? Right on. Good to see you, man. Hey, Shizo. Yeah, so these are thick, and they are pretty big sheets. I think they were what, like 100. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 by. So 7 by 15. So what's that? 115 of them, I think. I don't know if I'm mathing right, but yeah. So that's not quite enough to do two. So, and less than like, I think the desk keys come with 120. So you do get a few less, but it's enough for a full size, enough for an HHKB with spares, but not quite enough for two HHKBs out of one sheet, which little disappointing since that's primarily what I build. Means I'm if I buy their domes or buy their silencing rings, I'll be buying a few more, but not a big not a deal breaker. So they sent me those. The other one that I'm actually pretty excited about, they sent me, get that mic out of my face. They sent me new springs. So if you recall my last, come on camera, focus. There we go. If you recall my last M0110 stream, the springs were probably the least enjoyable part of the process. They were very uneven. Some of them were like weirdly shaped. They had, I mean, they didn't really have like barbs or the bent ends that some of the other ones do, but they really weren't very consistent. Looking at these, they look extremely consistent. Now, I haven't, gone into all of them and looked at them, but like, just the way they're stacked. And I pulled a few apart, they pop right apart. When I'm touching them, they feel like they might have just like a little bit of a lubricated coating on them, but it's very, very faint. It might just be from the manufacturing process. But they look really good. They look really consistent. So, like, just looking at these domes or these springs, I think these are a big step up from the last ones. And like, if you use the desk keys conical springs, they've got a weird little bit of a barb on the end, which can cause like a catch from the end of the spring and that first bottom rung, where like sometimes the bottom of it will get caught above it and it'll kind of cause some of those crunch noises. These, just looking at the half dozen or so I pulled out of there, do not have any of that. So this is a very well cut, well coiled, consistent looking spring. We'll throw those in it. We'll see how they. Yeah, Goonit, you saw that picture that I posted with the one that's like leaning and the other one that's like yay tall. They're supposed to be like yay tall. Like, yeah. So these are, the new spring is looking pretty good. And then also I have, obviously the 2U parts, the spacebar kit. So when I bought the plate, I didn't buy the plate. They sent me the plate. Because I had bought some other parts and I was like, I'm going to be, swapping this thing out. Do you guys have a plate for it? So they sent me the plate. And plugged into the plate was their spacebar kit. And I mean, looking at this thing, there's a little bit of, I won't say that the molding is as clean as like the desk keys or the Densys stuff. But it's pretty good. It looks, size-wise, everything else, it looks spot on. So I plugged them in, I played around with them a little bit, I installed the space bar on them, and they, it all looked pretty good. So those look good. Now, this was the disappointing part. So they sent me the board with 2 of these installed, and the third one is a spare. Or the plate, I mean. And yeah, if you look at these, what's the first thing you notice on these? Massive freaking crown. So like, here, let me compress that. So if you look at those, come on, camera, killing me here. So yeah, if you look at the crowns on them, they actually go above, like, the lip of the, where the slider slides. So those are huge. So I was like, man, fuck, I'm gonna have to cut those down. I'm gonna have to get out the hacksaw, deal with that shit, So yeah, they did they made the same mistake that Densys made with the the V1 2U. Is those massive freaking crowns. So yeah, I would just grind or cut them off is how I would deal with those. That's what I'm doing with the Densys ones, so that I get get mileage out of the extras they sent. But there's good news. So you know, when they put the latest round of domes up on the sites for sale, I went ahead and picked those up, and then I picked up a few more 2U parts because they were showing some pictures of other colors. Now they didn't give me the option to choose the color. I just like blind ordered, you know, the parts. But they sent me these really nice kind of lavender ones that match their like kind of lavender purple, you know, their sliders, and these look pretty good. So, you know, similar to the black ones. You know, I think that's a 7U. So yeah, that's right. I bought 6U. So these are shorter. So I'm gonna have to pull that bar to use with these. But you know, they look good. I like the color. Like, they're nicely smooth. I mean, they're decent looking parts. But the exciting part was the 2Us. So, you know, I got the 2Us, and will you look at that? So after I got the first one, I gave them some feedback about the crowns. I explained, you know, some of the interference issues that they cause. And they didn't mention that they were updating them. But when they sent me the new ones, you know, they had a revision that, you know, kind of was, you know, in line with the advice, the friendly advice that I was passing along. So maybe they looked at other people's designs and changed it. Maybe they took my words to heart. I don't know. But point is, you know, the new ones have been trimmed down. Now, they're not like the Densus or the Des where it's like completely flush. So I don't know. That might still cause some issues there. But it's considerably less. And I think that'll be a lot easier to deal with if you did decide to like take it flush all the way down to the 2U housing. Hey, what's up, Avendasaur? Yeah, so that's cute. I just realized I left my music not playing. So yeah, so they're very cute. We're gonna install those in the plate today. We're gonna use the silencing rigs. I'll probably just do 0.3, just because of, you know, how the sliders are designed. But yeah, so we got parts. So exciting. So we get to build. But before we build, we must destroy. So here's this guy. You know, the reason we're tearing it down is because of these little crappy co-star. I mean, you see, yeah, I was not a fan of installing these. It was a bit of a drag. But now I don't have to deal with them. So let's do this thing. I'm gonna get a couple things out of the way, make myself some space. Yeah, they're co-star. They are indeed. So not the nicest stabs, but they did the job. Like I used it, I brought it to work. I don't remember who it was that gave me the hack, but like I made them a lot easier by trimming the backside of the stab. I don't know what you call this part, but the part that plugs into the keycap, I trimmed it so that it's easier just to like slide them on the wire rather than having to slip it on and pop it in and finagle it. So that made the installation a lot easier. So Shizo, I got the purple ones from the AliExpress store. So if you've not seen it, give me just a second. Let me pull it up real quick and I can show you. Yeah, see if this works. Okay, cool. Yeah, so excuse me, sorry. So yeah, on AliExpress, it's this SZR KBD store. And they've got, you know, EC keyboard accessories, EC capacitive, and, you know, what does that look like to you? I mean, I feel like I've seen that board before. You know, they got stone cases, plastic cases, which is what the M0110 is, wooden cases, all sorts of stuff. But yeah, they've got a good mix of EC, you know, parts. So they got their domes, they got the kind of the rip-off Sipulot boards, the EC Pro 2 boards, the 60%, various plates for stuff. So, you know, but yeah, here's the kit that I'm going to be, you know, that I'm working on, and you know, here's the new picture of it with the updated, you know, the not fully updated 2U sliders. But sorry, what were you asking? You were asking for the yeah. So this is where I got the 2U. And for whatever reason, they still have the picture of the old ones, but they sent me the new ones. So they sent me the kind of the purple ones. So they still need to update a few things on their page, but yeah. It is the same listing as the black ones. Yeah, I bought that thinking I was going to get the black ones and have to cut them, and I, you know, got the updated purple ones. So I was pleasantly surprised about that. But all right, let's get out some tools and start tearing this thing. Sorry, I just almost knocked a cup of alcohol I was using to clean up some parts earlier off the table. And yeah, I keep moving things around because I got a whole mess of stuff. I've been working on bikes lately, so I've got these. Here, let me get this off so I can show you. Here, get another view into my geekery. Yeah, I've got these. If you ride a bicycle, if you ride a fixed gear, you know, you've got a fixed gear cog, but these are these wacky double geared fixed gear cogs. So it's like taking a single speed bike and turning it into a double speed, because you can, you know, with a 9-speed chain, you can basically change your chain line. Now you can't do it on the fly, but you can change your gearing. So yeah, these are sitting over here, and just another little nerdy thing I'm into is the bike stuff. Oh, nice, Shiza. You got the new domes and the springs. Yeah, the springs are looking pretty good. I don't know. So I haven't installed them yet. That's actually why I'm kind of, you know, playing around with this here. I wish I had a test bed system that had multiple 2U, so that I could kind of put them side by side, but I don't. I really don't want to install one of each in this board. So you're not getting that today. But I am going to try the new ones, throw some MX caps on there, see if there's any kind of interference issues. And yeah, I guess before I do that, I should probably pull the caps. Let's do first things first. Yeah, I am Avendasaur, I am right there with you. I am super excited to try the new caps, like, or the, you know, the new domes and the new springs. Like, they look like a big step up from the previous run of them. They're definitely, they look more consistent to me. So I think they're going to yield good results. But you know, we'll see. I do need to, you know, go through the whole popping everything out of this, because since I'm using silencing rings, got to pull the sliders, and we got to pull the housings because I don't have enough spare 1U housings to fill out that other board. So we're going to be recycling everything. So if you'll bear with me for just a moment, just tear this stuff down. Hey, what's up, Conan? Welcome. So I'm if you'll bear with me, I'm just tearing this board apart, and then we'll get to rebuilding it with the new plate, the new parts. It'll be a whole new keyboard. Yeah, the SRX, nice. What did you change? Or why did you tear it down? Was there something in it you weren't caring for? I was thinking about throwing different caps on these, but honestly, I kind of like the beige and gray Cyrillic on this thing. It just makes it look old school. It makes it look like some, like, you know, if Apple was started by, you know, a couple guys in their garage in Chernobyl, you know, maybe this is what would have come out. No, so there are several other companies that offer, well, I say several. Desk Keys has 1mm rings. I'm trying to remember if Keymat does or not, but let me take a look. I can find that out real quick. I feel like they do. No, they don't. They have 0.7. So yeah. So Desk Keys has 1mm rings. I don't know if that other guy does or not, but yeah. So it's them and PBB have 1mm rings, and I don't think I think Densys is only 0.3 and 0.5. And then Keymat with the Thok rings is 0.3, 0.5, 0.7. So, yeah, vendors I would recommend, it looks like PBB and Des are the ones to go to. And what's up, Broke Bum? Good to see you. So I've been kind of not streaming lately and just not really, you know, feeling super in the mood for it, but I have been messing with keyboards. Now, you know, I hate to disappoint you guys, but most of the boards I've been, it's always weird, sorry, I'm going to interrupt myself. It's always weird pulling up on a CoStar cap and then having it not give because the little plugins, little inserts are still stuck to the key. So, yeah. So, you know, doing the cutouts allows me to just kind of like pop it up and then slide the key out. So if you do have to install CoStar, I do highly recommend making that little notch on the back of the insert. But yeah, so let me get rid of those and hopefully never have to mess with them again. And where was it? I had something else I was looking for. Okay, whatever. Damn, I forgot what I was talking about. Well, I'm sure it wasn't that important. Oh yes, other boards I've been building. So I did take the caps off of this guy and put these Heresy caps on just because it's pretty wicked, and that's why, you know, got the red shirt, you know, the you know, smashing those bigots and assholes kind of shirt, because wanted to go with the red board, go with the, or is it the red logo? I guess I can't point to the right corner because I'm not on the right screen, but you could go matchy on that. But yeah, I put those caps on, and man, they sound great on the board. Actually, I did install one of the new the show keycap pads just to see what it did, if it muted it anymore, because this is already a pretty quiet board, and I didn't notice too much difference with that. But I've got a couple other boards I want to install, and what was wrong with them to make them B stock? So they looked, they were gnarly looking. They had kind of like a white, I don't even know what it was. It looked like someone had splooged on them and let it dry. It had this weird white chalky, like, cummy thing just kind of blasted across them. I don't know if it was, you know, if something got into the, you know, the storage or they were at, or something in manufacturing process, but they just looked really freaking gnarly. But I, you know, took some dish soap and some warm water to them, threw them in the ultrasonic, scrubbed them with a toothbrush, and they came out looking fine. So I was pretty happy with the purchase for the price. Alright, last one. So yeah, so you've got, you know, and you can see I'm already knocking the wire out. Like my key, you know, my spacebar wire came out. So I'm not huge on these CoStar stabs. They did the job. They were fairly quiet, but I wasn't, they just weren't great. So yeah, let me pull out one of those sheets, because I was thinking about maybe throwing one. I wanted to use one of my Amano, the R2 Amano set from Kiko, on my HG60, S60 HG, sorry. And I ended up not, because I was having some really annoying, like the cap was hitting the plate, and it was just really freaking annoying. So I may throw one of these on that, and then, you know, put it back in. So yeah, so here it is. I mean, this is the 1mm thick one. So yeah, so I think he's got 0.5 and 1mm. But it's, I mean, it's pretty cool. It's all cut out. It is HHKB specific layout. So, you know, if you put it on a board, it does map to the 6U asymmetric blockers. So I couldn't necessarily use it on this, just because I've got the 7U spacebar and the spacing over here. I mean, maybe I could just cut something out to kind of fake it on that key if I really did want to, but yeah, they're built for HHKBs, or, you know, show boards, or heavy grails, or, you know, anything of kind of that style that has housings that ape the, you know, the dimensions of OEM, whether it be like an HHKB with an integrated plate, or, you know, like your, you know, show board, or what have you. Now, I don't know, I guess, yeah, they would work with the Neverest as well, so if you have a Neverest, you could do that, but, Alright, let me get those caps out of the way. Now we can start taking this thing apart. So, you know, I was wondering, because of how the screws go through, and they didn't like countersink the holes in these plates. So like here, I can show you better on this plate. You can kind of see how they like stand up off the top. I was wondering if that would cause any kind of like collision or interference with keycaps. But on this plate I didn't have any, so you know, that kind of assuaged my worries. But I went ahead and, you know, cheated before the stream and then screwed these on because I figured I'd, you know, instead of having to screw 48 screws in just to install the plate, I'd, you know, cut myself down to 24 on stream. Gonna have nightmares thinking about pre-compression for 1mm. Yeah, so on these sliders, because these sliders have no cutouts, there's no like added stack like the desk keys housings. Like if you put 1mm on these, I mean, what, that would be a 3mm travel. Where does key press actuation happen, or where does actuation happen in Topre? I think it's at 2.2mm. So yeah, you would have like a 1.2mm key press before you actuate it, and that would heavily compress the dome. So it would be interesting. Any other sorts of foam gaskets, landing pads, and stuff? I mean, it's a case-by-case basis. Like the landing pads I've used for a couple of my builds. I've used them under like the spacebar stabs sometimes. I've used the ones under the 2Us. But like the dome gaskets, I've not ever bothered with. I don't feel like they're really necessary. Some of the like the housing gaskets on a few of the Real Force builds I've done, they were worthwhile, but like on a lot of boards, they hurt more than they help. Like on brass plates, I found that they're not really useful, typically. And in fact, the problems that they caused were they weren't allowing my 2U and some of my housings to fully clip in. And so that was putting compression on like the sides of the housings, which was then kind of like deforming the channel that the slider moved through and causing like binding or a slow return, or you know, it was messing with some of my stuff. So I went ahead and got rid of them. Alright, so I really like this case. Like for a cheap, I mean, here, let me look, see how much it is. So if you buy this from AliExpress, there it is. Yeah, so if you buy the kit, self-assembled, it is $111.34. Here, I'll show you. $111.34 with $22.50 shipping. So what's that? Less than 135 bucks. And you can get self-assembled. For the fully assembled kit, is that really only... That's crazy to me. Okay. So the fully assembled kit's only like $8 more. So you could get yourself a fully assembled, you know, white or black for like, what, 140 something bucks? So yeah, so that's pretty sick. And it does, you know, the new ones do come with the new plate, the 2Us, the spacebar stab. So it's, I mean, for the price, it's a really awesome deal. It gives you everything but the keycaps. I mean, it's got the PCB, which is, I think it's based on the Cipulot PCB. So yeah, I probably shouldn't yank on that too hard. Let me go ahead and disconnect there. So, you know, PCB looks oh, here, get the browser off the window, sorry. Yeah, so, you know, this looks familiar if you mess with some of the SIP stuff. It does have the USB, you know, soldered on here for board, or for, you know, for housings that can, or cases that can support it. It also has your, you know, that guy there. You can just plug in. So it's pretty slick. But yeah, let me start tearing this guy apart, and then we can really play with it. One other thing I don't necessarily care for with this, but I understand why they did it, is the screws they use are these little like M1.6, like 3mm and 4mm screws, and it's because they had to use standoffs that would fit in the, you know, the recesses and the holes between the housing. So they worked with what they had. Yeah, for an S60 V2, I mean, if you want silence, I do silencing rings. I think they all are shipping with so with the brass plates. So yeah, I probably wouldn't really bother with any of the the other gaskets, like the housing gaskets or the dome stuff. Like I don't think you really need any of that. Let's see. Shit. Okay. Sorry, I thought I misplaced one of my my bits, which means I need to take a drink. All right. So yeah, the screws are. I mean, they are. Let me get one of these out. Look at that. They're like absolutely itty bitty. And I feel like if they would have tapped their plate, then you could have used like 2.5 or something that's not quite as minuscule, but they didn't. So here we go. If you'll excuse me, I'm going to be quiet and just kind of count these because I want to make sure that I've got the right number of standoffs to screws. Alright, we're at 16. Let's see. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Sheesh, are there that many? Jesus. Okay. I feel like I don't have that many over here, which is making me wonder what I'm missing. Interesting, though. Yeah, the landing pads, so they're basically to keep the, keep things from hitting, keep plastic from hitting the PCB. Which, if you don't have the problem, you don't really need them. And other people have done similar, like, Band-Aid modding. Like, you can just use a Band-Aid, underneath the 2U sliders or the spacebar stabs, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really think they're necessary. If you build it up and your 2U and your spacebar stab on the downstroke is giving like a super annoying noise that isn't the keycap, then it might be worth opening it back up and installing them. But otherwise, I really would not bother. It's just another thing to buy that, doesn't really, I don't feel like they give much benefit most of the time. Okay, so I think this is the last screw. But yeah, I'm going to have to count my standoffs because I feel like that was a lot more than, okay, there we go. Oh, jeez, really? Did that work? Yo! Almost got all of them, nice. Okay, well, let me set this over here for now. Where did I put that? Actually, I'm realizing I'm going to need something to set this off of, to stand off. So yeah, give me just a minute. I'm going to go grab some stuff. I mean, if you're buying something else and it's only a couple bucks, buy the landing pads, try them. But I don't feel like I've got them. I think I've got them installed in like 2 or 3 of my boards, and it was like a problem solver. It was because on the downstroke, they were, I got that kind of plastic on PCB clacking that was occurring. And it was mainly on the spacebar. So, like, if you you look at how the spacebar actuates, when it goes down, you know, that plastic, you know, has the potential to go past the limits of the you know, of the housing and hit the board. And so yeah, just putting like a little piece of Band-Aid like in the void right there, so that when it's landing, it hits that. I mean, you know, it does about the same thing as the you know, the landing pad. So 6 one, half a dozen of another. And yeah, let me grab a few little some bins to throw the parts in, and I'll be right back. Yeah, I mean, Band-Aid modding works. Alright, I'm just going to throw the springs and the, I'm going to throw everything in here. Sort it out later. And these are the older springs, which are, you know, they were... Honestly, once I had them installed, they didn't feel that bad, but, like, going through them, I definitely cherry-picked and got rid of some that were somewhat inconsistent. Alright. So I'm hoping the new springs will, you know, the first 60 I pull will be good. Alright. Yeah, so there's your PCB. I mean, it lists all the different layouts, unified left shift, all the broken 1U, 7.5, ANSI inner, ISO, number, ISO inner. Yeah, so it's got all sorts of options on this thing. It's pretty cool. Decent little board. Okay, I will put those aside. Try not to spill them. Yeah, so let's just take a look here. So first row, 1, 2, 3, 4, good. Second row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, good. Third row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, good. Fourth row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fifth row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, cool. So yeah, so they match. Oh, and that's the other thing I was going to grab. I was going to grab something to let me place that on as a standoff. So yeah, one more minute. Apologize, I totally did not prep for this. Be right back. Yeah, Broke Bum. That is a perfect call out as well. The center piece for, yeah, I've used that as well. So, yeah, good call there. Okay. So, first things first, got to pop all of these out. And then we can pop all the housings out if I can find my little spudger guy. Yeah, alright. And I gotta say, this thing's pretty cute. It was... So back when Drop was mass drop, they released this like 60% dust cover, you know, that was like orange branded. But because of the height of it, it is awesome to work with and use as like a standoff. Because I can just like place 60% plates directly on it like that, and then just work on them. And it gives you enough room to like put keycaps on, and it's pretty cool. So... I've started using that recently as my little, little installation helper. It does a good job at catching everything. It's just, yeah, it's handy. You can use a Bic pen, you can use, all sorts of, you can use a coin in the slots, you can do whatever, but I had a paintbrush, so I'm using the paintbrush. Yeah, the Band-Aid it's a much easier way of going about it. Sorry, I'm not paying attention to the comments, so I'm replying out of order. Alright. So I didn't lube this when I built it up, with the exception of the CoStar stabs. And, oh, that was a screw that just fell out. Where did that fall out from? Oh, okay, right there. So I guess similarly something else fell out. And there's 2 screws, so 2 screws fell out. What the hell? Okay, one here and one there. Which means I just lost the barrels as well. Taupe. Oh, well, there's one of them. Alright. Nice. Anyway, let me just set those aside. Yeah, I can't... man, that one's loose. Yeah, so I guess when I backed these off, it loosened them from the other side as well. I can't really say I'm super into, like, these little standoffs and the way they work, but it's the solution, it works. So I guess I can't complain too much. Alright. Keep all of those. I'll use those later. And then we gotta pop these guys out. Which I do use a spudger to just kind of like pop one side if I can get under it. And these are kind of tight in here, so I might yeah, we'll see. Ooh. I really don't want to bend that plate. Okay. Actually, what am I talking about? This is the old plate. I can bend this plate. Yeah, damn, that thing is, Alright. I will say, these are pretty tight in here, so hopefully they won't be as tight in the new plate, but usually I can just, like, pop one side and the whole thing pops out, but these I'm actually having to, like, give it a little oomph on both sides, so bear with me while I get through these. We'll keep moving. Yeah, if the new stabs are good, you might send over a message and see if you can order some. There, I mean, oh, so yeah, so you say Taobao. Here. Actually pulled that up as well. So I look at it through Superbuy just because it makes it easy for me. But, like, I connect to their Taobao store. And, well, I thought they had them. Oh, shoot. I thought they had them listed. Never mind. Okay, so they got the domes, they got plates, they got... Yeah, so hit them up on Taobao, definitely. Cool. Okay, good deal, Shizo. Yeah, I mean, it's the same folks behind the PBB store and the, the SZN KBD store on Ali, so definitely hit them up. Now, I will say it's interesting to see the see things move to the different stores and which way they come from, like if they show up on Taobao or AliExpress first, or what have you. I don't really know the mechanisms behind all of that, but I'm looking forward to seeing what they do next, because now while they are ripping some folks off, like, I don't know, last I bought two PCBs from the Taobao store, and then I hit Sip Up and was like, yo bro, you got like a coffee, what is that, Ko-Fi or coffee or whatever, the KO-FI, like, I want to throw you a few bucks because I appreciate the, the work you put into designing these, even if you're not making 1 cent off of the fact that I'm buying, 2 of them from China. So, figure do right by the designer because, man, the work he puts in, like, I mean, I know it's not on him to support anything third party like that, but, like, the fact that he designed it, I feel like he should at least be getting some kind of commission. SRZ, thank you. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. You did. Thank you, Shizo. Yeah. No, sorry, man. A lot's happened since then, dude. It's been a hectic few weeks. I know, it's been fun though. Like I've been getting back into doing some of the kind of group social bike rides around town. Like, get together with like 100, 200 people, ride 10 miles, stop at a park and chill, drink a few beers, hang out with friends. Kind of nice. So I'd taken a bit of a break there when my girlfriend had gotten injured. And since she's, pretty much healed up now and back on her bike, like I've been getting out and we've been hitting the rides up again. So I think maybe that's part of why I've not been streaming is because, several nights a week I'm out hanging out with friends, going on bike rides, and just haven't really had the evenings to, to get down with this. But it's been fun. It's been a fun few weeks, even though busy. Yeah, man, it's been a I mean, and she's not 100% yet, but I'm glad she's feeling better too, because that was a real drag. I mean, getting hit by a car is never fun. So yeah, I'm really glad that she's been feeling better. Yeah, these things are starting to take up too much room to be able to pop them out, so I'm having to kind of like play games and shuffle around to make sure they're not under the parts that I'm actively knocking out. But yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. Oof, starting to feel it in my hand though. Maybe I'll go the other way. Start beating on my left hand. Yeah, thank you, Neko. I appreciate that. Man. And the lawyering is still, I'm sure that's going to take a long time. So it's not like it's over, but it's the healing has been going. So. And she definitely had, I mean, I feel like there was some kind of like psychological, remnants of, I mean, when you get hit in the face by a freaking Ford F-150 truck and you're on your bicycle, like that shakes you up a bit. Like if you're a regular people's, like that can mess with your head. So she's really had to kind of get over some, go through some shit to even, feel comfortable getting back on a bike, riding to a job, like the whole, commuting, all of it. So yeah, it's I'm glad she's been getting better as well, for sure. All right, almost there. Come on, you bastard. So I've really been looking forward to trying the 65-gram domes, but Neko was saying that they weren't super impressed with them, and they were like an instant yeet, so I don't know. I'm going to throw them in. If they suck, they suck, but, I think I still want to give them a try. Alright. I've been liking the heavier stuff lately, even though I primarily type on light switches. Like, I do enjoy the, I enjoy the greens and the extremes and all that fun stuff out there. So I think I might still try the 65, and if I hate it, I hate it. But we'll see. Alright, there we go. So that's all of it. That's the old one. I think I lost 1, 2, 3, 4 that came out when I was unscrewing the other ones. So that's definitely something to look out for on these plates. Like if you have to take them apart, like, yeah, I don't know, maybe I should start Loctiting that side in or something just so that they're stuck in place. But alright, so let's start working on this. Now, obviously, first things first is popping these guys in. Yeah, there's really not a lot of play in there. These, yeah, those sit flush. So I'm not going to bother with any kind of gaskets or anything on these. I'm just going to go with it. Which means I can still do the build 100% with parts from PBB, which is kind of the goal here. Come on. And yeah, with these little standoffs, I mean they really fit close. So the reason why they're using an M1.6 screw is because they really could not have used anything bigger and like fit around these standoffs. I mean, here, let me. Yeah, that's about as close as you can get. So that's, I mean, that's cool. All right. Yeah, feeling better like something. Oh man, really, it is like, and it takes a while to get to that point where it's like, man, I'm feeling better. But yeah, like, I remember the first couple times that, you know, she took, you know, a solo ride by herself, and you know, she was pretty shooken up. And then, you know, a couple times after that, like, it wasn't as bad. And yeah, that recovery is a process, physically as well as mentally. And yeah, getting better feels good. Being healthy feels good. Alright. So I guess I should, once all this is done, I'll have 2 extra 1Us because I've got 2 2Us. And then yeah, these will just, you know, since I'm not using the co-star, it doesn't really change anything other than, you know, use the spacebar. Kill that beer real quick. That's right. Now I remember what I was talking about earlier that I'd forgotten. So in my kind of interim between the last stream and this one, I think I built rebuilt 4 MX boards. Rebuilt a couple Karas, rebuilt a couple Ramas, swapped out switches in my my NK65, and so I've got, you know, all my new favorite switches across all my old favorite MX boards, and actually got a USB-C connectored GH60 PCB. It's hot swappable that I'm going to throw in another one of my Tokyo 60s. So I want to rebuild. Oh yeah, so that's right. I rebuilt my 2 of my Tokyo 60s. So shit, I think I've messed with like 6 MX boards over the last month. And it's been fun. Like, as much as I love Topre, and Topre will be, you know, Topre is my thing. Like, dude, MX has been kind of fun. Okay. Yeah, the old 60 gig version got 65 in the Superbike warehouse. Nice. Yeah, I'm loving seeing people trying out all this new stuff. I mean, and I also love, like, hearing, you know, their opinions on them, because, you know, like some people like Neko, they didn't necessarily care for the 65s, but, you know, it's all preference, so we'll see. Much more linear MX modding is, yeah, it's interesting. It's so quick. I will say, like, I mean, if it's hot swap, it's like being able to rebuild an MX board and like dealing with less screws. You know, the switches being contained, so rather than it being, you know, a slider, a silencing ring, a housing, a dome, conical spring, so it's like, you know, 5 parts, they're all included in that one little switch that you just plug into the KL hot swap socket or the, you know, Milmax or whatever, and you're done with it. So yeah, there's something to be said for that aspect of it. Now the, you know, the analysis paralysis that can come from 5,000 different recolored, you know, whatever the hell, cherry clone, kale box, whatever the fuck, like, that's real. I did, like, I think I went through like 6 different kinds of switches in my no, I went through 5 different kinds of switches in my HHKB studio before I basically like settled on the tactile version of what the OEM switch cloned. So I don't know. All right. So yeah, I don't do the corners because this is an HHKB layout, but it's fun and it's quick. So you know, like being able to switch them that fast without having to like open up the case is definitely nice. And troubleshooting one of them, you just have to pull one switch. So like that was the big bonus for me, and dealing with. Man, I really want to know where the hell my other. I had a bunch of other clear housings from PBB, and I don't know where the fuck I put them. But that's all I need for this build, so that's not a big deal. You do like big bump tactility, so that is the one thing that ended up putting me off of several of the switches that I tried. Were just that kind of like that P bump or whatever, you know, that very big initial bump before the drop. I was not digging on it. I did not care for it. So yeah, I ended up settling on the Kale Deep Sea Pro whales. And they're like they're you know, tactile. I think it's like 65 gram to get past the bump, but they're nice. All right. So yeah, let me pull these guys out because I will be lubing these. I do hate unlubed stabbed 2U keys. Yeah, MX is nice. I don't hate it. MX linears, yeah, like they really do. I mean, that was what was originally in the. Man, this plate does not sit fully flat. I wonder if it's because it's got all the parts clipped in it now. If it's putting weird pressure on it, but let's see. Okay, there we go. Oh yeah, perfect. There we go. Balance your boards. And I will need that other wire. So let's see. Ooh, is that? Yeah. Okay, that fits. Cool. Yeah, I will say these all clip in very nicely. I feel like in some plates, sometimes the desk keys parts, like the 2Us, sometimes don't clip in perfect to the point where I've actually started shaving the little, like, you know, the clip portion, just putting them in and kind of press fitting them, because they can be a little tight. But these are nice. These actually fit really good and don't have, like, I mean, yeah, they don't have any move. All right, well, this one did just pop out when I kind of gave it a tug, but no, they fit in there really well. And with the PCB on there, those would be nice. So yeah, those look pretty good. And yeah, if you look across the plane of them, I don't know if I can show this on the camera, but like the height of their kind of neck right there is exactly the same as all the 1Us around it. So that is cool that they kind of reduce those down to that level plane. So yeah, so that's nice. Cool. Alright, so there's those. And we gotta do these real quick. Pop this guy out. Come on, bastard. There we go. Where did I put that other one? There it is. Throw these in here so I don't lose them. I have some sick mega tactile Franken switches with 80 gram springs, your own creation. Nice. Yeah, so that's, I mean, that is, you know, both an up and down side, is that there's like 8 million different kinds of switches. But that also means that there's so many different kinds of parts that you can you can really have it your way. All right. Oh, that is kind of tight. Okay. So popping these in this plate, these are the purple ones. The black ones fit well. These are feeling kind of tight, and in fact, it looks like it's shaving off a little bit of metal on there. So, you know what? Oh, there it goes. Okay, there it goes. Yeah, just need a little bit of push. So again, housing gasket entirely unnecessary. Those, you know, they popped in after I gave it a push. Oh. Huh. Well, that's interesting. Hold on. Ooh, youch. All right. Bad news. I just broke that one. Guess it's a good thing I have another one. Holy crap. All right. Well, that break, because it's in this little area here, it probably wouldn't affect like the functionality of that, but that's kind of a bummer. So yeah, I may have to hit Des up about that, or hit show up about that. Sorry, I don't know why I said Des. And I'm gonna put that one away and pull, or wait, not show, PBB. Jeez. See, that's we've got like what, 4 main manufacturers, and I still can't tell them apart. I don't know how the hell I would exist in Topre or in MX land, where there's like 8 million. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to bug the PBB folks about that, because that was a bummer. Yeah, it makes me wonder if I should. Let's see if there's a better way of doing this. Alright, there we go. That one popped in, and they both look good. Okay. So let's try this one more time. Hopefully nothing breaks. But yeah, that's somewhat alright, there we go. That popped in a little better, and both of them are looking good. Okay. So we're good there. Yeah, that's kind of a bummer that that one broke. Freaking shoot me. Alright, I don't think that's going to work right, guys. Alright, laugh at me now. Someone clip that, because, whoa, that was a fuck up. That's really funny. Damn it. Man. All 11 of you got to watch me make that big old boneheaded move. God, that's funny. Yeah, I will say these are kind of tight. Like even trying to pop it out and not, you know, not bend the plate. They're giving me some issues here. All right, there we go. Damn it. Yeah, this guy is he's being a little tenacious. There we go. Okay. Okay, so that one's popped in and good, and the right direction this time. And this one. Alright, also popped in fully and not wiggly. Alright, cool. So now we're good. Tell me that didn't fall out of this board. Nope. Okay, cool. Alright. Well, I think we're at that point. Yeah, those were way tighter than the 1U. In fact, I feel like they were tighter than the black ones. So, yeah, it might be something with these purple parts. Now, these were fine. These fitment were great. So, but yeah, those are a little tight. I'm gonna do a quick shot of Malort here to, you know, get back into this. All right. Now, fun part. Let me get out some silencing rings and start popping sliders in. Okay, now... Alright, here we go. So a 0.3, 0.5, and 1. I'm going to go ahead with the 0.3s. Just because these sliders are based on kind of the like the unsilenced kind of Nova Touch style, similar to the like the Densys, you know. So they don't have like the indent on the bottom, or the, you know, the thinner middle, you know, cross member there. So they don't, you know, they don't really account for the compression from a thicker silencing ring. So I'll just go with the 0.3. That's kind of what I like with my my HHKB, like the, you know, unsilenced Pro 2s, things like that. So all right, and now we run into the next fun part, is peeling these off. There's one of them. They feel like they're not entirely cut through, some of these. Ooh, they're also a good bit bigger. So unlike some, like they got a little bit of wiggle around the stem. So that is something to consider. I don't know how that's going to affect it, if they're going to flop around more on the inside or not, but let's guess we can install them and find out. All right, there we go. They do sit in there fine. Like looking at it from the top, like, yeah, actually that's interesting. So moving it back and forth, I can see it sliding from the top to bottom. So I do wonder if that'll make any difference, or, you know, account for any kind of inconsistency in the sound. But we'll see. So yeah, I wonder, I mean, I don't know, I feel like, you know, I feel like there are OEM measurements for things, and then there's, you know, third-party vendors who will take those measurements and then, you know, make I don't know, you just come to their own conclusions on whether or not the parts are, you know, too loose, too tight, too long, too short. You know, then they come up with, like, you know, what would I change? What dials would I turn to, you know, if I had my druthers, you know, what would be the best EC part, like, and so then they come up with, you know, well, maybe we'll make this part looser, maybe we'll make this part tighter, maybe we'll, you know, take the barrel and rather than have it, you know, decrease in size as it goes up, like have it the same diameter, the entire length of it. And they do it for various reasons, to, like, you know, reduce rattle, you know, reduce keycap movement, you know, increase the ability to run thicker silencing rings, you know, like, you know, sit tighter in a real force plate. You know, there's all sorts of different reasons for turning that dial one way or the other. The only problem is that, you know, that dial, I mean, you know, for as old as the design is, I feel like there's probably a reason why the you know, the original, you know, Topre, you know, I don't know, why the original engineers designed these parts the way they did. And, like, you know, you turn those dials at your peril, because sometimes they get turned a little too far, and then you get, you know, parts interference, or you get, you know, housings that get stuck with certain sliders, or you get, you know, so it's like, it's, I don't know, some dimensions I feel like you can turn pretty safely without really messing things up. Like, I will say, like, the desk keys housings that give you an additional 0.2 millimeters of stack on the inside, so you can run thicker silencing rings. That's a pretty safe dial to turn, because you're not going to be, like, you know, causing interference by changing the width of something, or, you know, shortening something so that the caps, you know, will you know, bottom out. So it's like, I feel like that's a fairly safe one to mess with. But yes, other dimensions, maybe not as wise to tweak. So yeah, when you know, when something's changed, even by, like, you know, point, you know, just a few, you know, micromillimeters, like, it does cause problems. Like, you know, like the struggle I had to get those 1U parts in. Now, that could also be the plate being cut a little narrow. I didn't try an OEM part in there, but I guess that's just something that I've observed as I've been using the various aftermarket makers' parts. So it's like, all right. Sorry, yeah, these rings are a little tricky to get off the sheet sometimes. Trying to brainstorm if there's maybe an easier way to. Yeah, I guess I could just use some tweezers, see if that works. No. So okay, sorry, Migarashi, I saw your question. So you said that the silencing rings on your HG were a bit loose. So yeah, and those are the ones that are made by Show. So these are made by PBB, or what is it, SZR or whatever SZR from AliExpress. But they're the same folks that make the sliders, the housings, the stabs, the case that I'm about to install these in, which is that M0110 kit that you find floating on the Chinese sites. So yeah, so these are a new product. I think they just made it, a couple weeks ago up on the sites. Nope. And so far, I mean, they're, I will say with them being a little bit wider like this, they're a whole lot easier to install on the slider. The problem that I'm having is then they want to fall off the slider when I put them in the board the way I usually do it. So I'm having to, pick up the plate and housing set up here to make it a little easier on myself so they don't fall. Use gravity for my, to my advantage. Alright, come on. Yeah. So I've got to say, despite some of the, I mean, shoot, I was about to say wackier keyboard drama, but man, there's some meltdown shit going on. So, some of the freaking exit scams that are happening and that are still happening, sheesh, dude. It's kind of got me feeling a little disheartened for the whole, the whole group buy process. And so, I know we're going to have, we're going to have FK is doing the Ursa caps. I'm really interested to see how that project goes. And there are some group buy stuff that are coming out here in the near future that I'm interested to see how it goes, but probably not going to throw my hat in the ring. I don't know if I have, I have it in me to wait, to pay for something and wait 2 years for it to be delivered. I feel like, when we were ordering stuff during COVID and after, it wasn't so bad. You were trapped inside. What the hell else are you going to do but wait around? But, nowadays, with so much other stuff that is decent and available, with Cipulot getting his supplier, or his vendors in order so that, we'll be able to buy in stock, Cipulot, EC replacement boards and controllers and have them, shipped to us from, having a U.S. supplier. I think Canon Keys is doing it, having the the EU, MEA. I don't know. Are they? I don't remember if the EU one is the same one as the Asia Pacific or not. But still, having sources for well-made parts that are Cipulot approved, that are dude, that is exciting news. So as much as I'm not looking at getting into any group buys going forward, unless they're being run by, I feel like Show. I'm really looking forward to the, the increase in stock stuff. Namely being, PCBs, being, new, the sliders from the various vendors, the, new rings, new bits and pieces, I like the options. And I know I've said it before, and I'm beating a dead horse here, but I feel like if one of these vendors came out with a working OEM slider, OEM stabilizer, like, they could make some bucks. Because right now, there are, no worthwhile, decent sources other than harvesting for OEM parts. Like, no one. Like, there's no one worth a fucking damn that, like, sells OEM parts online, unless you, like, you harvest them. So, it's kind of tough right now if you want to build an actual OEM compatible board out of parts, unless you want to tear apart another keyboard. So, we're kind of stuck in this quandary of, we have to kill a board to raise a board. Like, if someone came out with OEM compatible sliders, OEM compatible spacebar stabs, we would be at the point where we wouldn't have to take anything apart to build OEM compatible EC. Like, you could use the plates, you could, if somebody had, like, torn down an old Pro 3 Classic or something to build their heavy grail, and you got a buddy with just, like, a case kicking around, you could see if they would give it to you, and then, buy your OEM sliders from whatever future vendor decides to sell them, your OEM stabs, buy a SIP board, get yourself a set of caps from Kiko or from some of the Ursa caps, and you can build up a freaking entire setup. But yeah, the sliders and the stabs are the one missing link in that whole thing. So hopefully someone hears my cries. I send it out to the universe, Topre. It's been such a good year. It's been such a good last few years, but like, that's the one thing we're missing. So we'll see. Fingers crossed somebody worthwhile does it. But like, yeah, there's so much. I mean, hell, if I keep saying it, maybe SZR will do it. Like, I will say, of the various vendors, like having people like SIP, that like when you have one of his his boards. I mean, dude, the work that he puts in to keep the firmware like progressing, to add new features, to make it easy to dial things in and tune them. It's so dope. Like, people hit him up and ask him about features, and he's like, yeah, already implemented. Oh, and by the way, I'm working with someone else to make it so that it's user-friendly, so you don't have to be like a rocket scientist to be able to dial in, per key actuation distances or whatever. So, like, and, the SZR, PBB folk, like, they've been releasing, clones of the SIP stuff, as well as, their own parts. And, like, when I've bought parts from them, I've been like, yo, this stuff is great. Like, I appreciate you guys making this. But you could change these 1-2 things and make them more compatible, make them better. You could get rid of these crowns, and then that gets rid of a lot of the keycap interference issues that people have that are similar to the issues that, existed with other parts. So, I mean, it's cool. It's cool that it's a community that is growing, but it's still small enough that we have this access to these vendors who, like, listen to us and who are like, well, you're a valued customer, so yeah, what can we do better? And then you tell them, like, you could do this better if you change these, like, 2 little things with your parts, and then they do it. And it's freaking awesome. So yeah, I don't know. I like being a lazy consumer with opinions that get listened to, so that I can do, continue to lazily consume, improved, better components. So yeah, guys, SIP, appreciate you. Folks behind PBB, I don't know your names, appreciate y'all too. Yeah, Topre's in a good place. And I swear, seeing all the various folks working together, like seeing SIP build, commission plates for, BA, for the ball stuff, for, shoot, dude, he's doing all sorts of stuff. He's coming out with, a new, universal TKL plate, like, or PCB, I'm sorry, I keep saying plate. But yeah, all the PCBs he's working on, dude, it is so freaking dope. So yeah, I know 2024 is really going to be, like, another, golden year for Topre. Yeah, 100%, Evendosora. Like, like you said, it does feel like SIP opening Pandora's box of a custom PCB has changed the game. It really, really has. That, you know, he can, you know, that it all installs in the same footprint, that it, you know, that there's no interference in OEM housings, that, you know, with, you know, I feel like Show, I know that he did have to modify the S60 V2 to work with the JST connector on the, you know, little guy was like getting in the way on the bottom plate of his housing, but yeah, he modified that for the group buy one. So yeah, it's super cool to see the work that SIP has been doing and see other vendors, you know, jumping on and, you know, ensuring their parts are compatible with his parts. Like, yeah, I mean, by feel like by you know, virtue of doing it first and doing it well, like, I feel like Sipulot is really setting the standard for layout of, you know, these aftermarket PCBs and, you know, where the components hit and stuff. So it makes me happy to see vendors recognizing the fact that, you know, his stuff is the de facto, you know, EC PCB standard. Make your shit to work with his stuff, and, you know, that'll mean that people will have, you know, have access to replacement boards, have access to, you know, build kits for hopefully for a while. So yeah, SIP stuff is dope. A lot of older MX enthusiasts are also itching for it becoming more tinkerable. Yeah, for sure. Like, I know, you know, if people come from the MX world, I mean, I feel like when I came, you know, when I first got into Topre, which was in 2016 initially, and then heavily in 2018, MX was in a different place. I was actually original stance. We're talking about Sipulot, the you know, the designer of God frickin' everything. Where was it? I had his, yeah. Hold on. Look at this. I mean, if you don't know, now you know. So Sipulot, you know, on his Squarespace page, which here I'll well, where'd I go? Yeah, I'll drop this this in the chat. Yeah, like, poke around there. Like, you know, here's his EC Pro X. And it basically covers, you know, all the various wacky, like, HHKB case layouts that you would want for Pro 2s, for Pro 3s, FLX Virgo that you're waiting on. Yeah, so he's, here, let's, public portfolio. So commission boards. So yeah, the ball board, the Mono K, Lilium from here in Texas, the, you know, the Alveus, so the Densest stuff, Dafu 21XX, which I don't even know about. That Raita, which I'm really bummed I didn't get one of. What, Space Commander? Yeah, so he's, I mean, Theka, yeah, dude, he's doing so much work. And then I know he's got other stuff going on behind the scenes that he's not even talking about yet. And like there is so much, like, yeah, he is a freaking machine. Like the stuff that he is pumping out. See, I guess the Virgo isn't even mentioned on this page. Man, I gotta say, I wish, I mean, I understand why he didn't, because of, like, the way that everything overlaps and that it wouldn't look right, but God, I love the screening on the JIS boards. Like, I kind of want to get one of these and, you know, install it in my, you know, one of my JIS setups, just because, like, even though I would never see them, I just love this, the one layout to rule them all, these little domes. Like, this is freaking adorable. Alright, yeah, get this out of here, get back to the build. What's that original stance? You just spend an arm and a leg on Desky stuff? Yeah, there's no other way to buy Desky stuff other than, like, spend a limb on it. I mean, you know, for, you know, depending on if you're buying parts from the US or parts from China, if you're buying parts that ship from China, it's like you gotta make up that shipping. So, yeah, I definitely find myself, like, looking at the shipping and be like, fuck, adding a few more things just so that, you know, the shipping percentage of the total cost gets dropped down enough that I'm not kicking myself. And it's not cheap, so you know you can hit those high dollar amounts pretty quick. But man, they're good. I will say, like the Geon stem trimmer has saved, you know, several keycap steps. I have had the unfortunate displeasure to have cracked some keycaps on the desk keys sliders. So I do, when I've taken them to all my old boards, and when I build new boards with desk keys parts, which I still do, you know, fairly often, I do take that Geon stem trimmer to it and make sure that that they're nicely shaved and not too tight, and you know won't cause me any cracked caps and heartache down the road, because you know some of these sets kind of hard to get. Aftermarket prices are a bitch, so I hate it when I break my my one big control key, which was the key that I broke on my, I think it was Susawatari or whatever, and I broke my my control key. And that was heartbreaking, because that kit does not come with anything else that really works for that. And what the fuck is caps lock? I'm not a caps lock guy, so I wasn't about to throw a caps lock key on that thing. So you know, I hit him up and ended up, you know, I was able to get a replacement cap for it. So it ended up as a happy ending. I was able to replace it, but like, had they not been willing, like, that would have been a real bummer. All right. Sorry, we're slowly getting there. So I don't think I've heard of FLX Virgo. I could look it up, but my hands are full. What is that? Like, what layout is it? Original stance. Because I will say, I've built a lot of stuff with desk keys parts, but by and large, the majority of it has been HHKB or HHKB layout. Ergo TKL. Okay, so does that mean like an Alice layout? Does it have a function row, or like what a? Because yeah, I'm looking at an Alice board right now that I'm really wanting. Unfortunately, I'm having to pay for some car repair stuff, so tomorrow I'm gonna take my car to the mechanic and get an estimate, and based on that, I may actually be looking at buying a board in that kind of that Alice style Ergo layout, which I've never. I mean, I've used it at meetups, and it's, you know, I like it. But it's a little weird for me. I'm not fully on with the Ergo yet, but I think if I had one and really like put parts in it that I liked and tried it out, like I could get there. And it's not so different from like HHKB as far as, you know, number of keys, like placement of keys. Like, I don't think it's gonna really mess with my head too much, like when I tried a Plank did. Like 40% and, you know, ortho stuff, that's where my brain just starts to fracture. Like, the synapses fire wrong, and I don't know. I throw my hands up, and I just can't do it. So, but I think like an Alice I could do. Alright, let me check out your link real quick, because I'm curious. Oh, wacky. Okay, so that is not what I was, hold on, guys. Yeah, that is not what I was expecting it to look like. That is interesting. So there's no, like, you know, cocked, like, okay. And it really is a TKL, so it's got, like, full function row. It's got the, you know, all your nav cluster and 3 column on the right. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's cool looking. It's definitely like, yeah, I don't, sorry. So slightly, yeah, that would be interesting. Well, I don't want to say yet, because if Homeboy comes back, the mechanic, and is like, yo, you're going to have to pay like XYZ, and give me your wallet, I'm going to wipe you out, then I might not be getting it. But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully I can, hopefully tomorrow I get good news and can similarly have good news on the Alice or, Arisu board that I'm looking at buying. But now I will say it's, with all the awesomeness of boards coming out, the dragon of rip-offs and people cloning also does raise its ugly head, because like I love SCR and I love the PBB stuff, but some of their designs are a little more than homage. Like they just released a new HHKB Pro 2 aftermarket case that really looks like something I've seen before. Like here, let me see if I can find it real quick. And where'd I put it? There it is. Yeah, okay. Like, yeah, for some reason I can't open these. Does it actually open a full-size image? Nope. Oh, man. But yeah, like, man, I can't freaking... Like, do the lines on this, though, it looks similar, I feel like, to something I've seen before. Like, look at the feet, look at, like, the cutout of the plate, like... it might be slightly different, but not that different. So yeah, clones. What can you say? Yes, original stance. The one I'm looking at is, in fact, Topre. But yeah, this, man, that really looks like Norbauer's shit. Like... I don't know. I don't know if this is the same one that was on Shan Yu or what, but yeah, that's so that's, I guess, the downside of clones is if you're a highfalutin Californian who makes all his stuff in the United States and pays Americans a decent wage to sell it and to ship it and to box it and all that kind of stuff, like. Price-wise, China's gonna eat your lunch. So, yeah, I'm a massive Norbauer stan. I love his work. I love his philosophy. Like, I enjoy, I don't know, I enjoy his way of doing business. Like, I really like a lot of what he's been working on. I like his design language, and so. That board I was looking at, I think he's currently charging, about $800 for the last, I say the last, but the last, few last rounds of heavy grails. I think they, the current price is like $800 a pop. That one that I was looking at on, over there on AliExpress, that is a $220, case PCB plate, pretty much, whole kit kind of deal. So now you still need to get, your sliders and your housings and everything, but if you buy a Norbauer, you still have to get, the PCB, the sliders, the springs, the domes, everything else. So it's not like his come with that. For $800, you're getting a housing. Over here for $220, you're getting a housing. I guess, sorry, for Norbauer, you're getting a housing and you're getting the plate, which includes integrated housing. So that is pretty exciting. But yeah, with the SZN one, or SZR, sorry, PBB, whatever. Yeah, you get the PCB, you get kind of a Plato style plate, which allows you to use all the various aftermarket housing. So it's pretty nice. Yeah, 100% of Venusaur. With his plate, you don't get the same experience as with a clone. That is one big ad there for Norbauer stuff is, I guess with the exception of the palm plate that comes with the live oak, there really isn't another aftermarket like integrated housing plate that that really works. I don't know, man. China's pretty good with injection molding. I wouldn't, we'll see. I mean, how hard is it to file off a Norbauer logo off of something and then just, 3D scan it and tweak it here and there a little bit? I mean, I honestly really don't know. Maybe that's, more trouble than it's worth, and, laser cutting Plato plates, till the end of the day is a better business, but I don't know. I'm sure someone out there could do it. Oh, sorry. So, yeah, you say OSA V2 is the only Topre Alice you know of. So, the same folks that are building all these other boards are also building a Topre Arisu board. So, there you go. Now you know of two. The MLice 66, which, not the greatest name, but hey, they got an EC kit with split backspace. So yeah, check it. So that's not so bad. But yeah, OSA V2 is another one. Yeah, pretty wild. Like, the stuff that's coming out of China right now for EC is super freaking cool. Alright. Sorry guys, slowly getting there. I think we need to pop these last two 1Us in, and then we can get to lubing some stuff. Then we get to screw in, 8 million freaking screws. We can pop this thing together. Come on. Oh, ha! Well, I'm glad I flipped it over because I just noticed this one 1U that had the silencing ring kind of pinched. Which actually, the silencing ring doesn't look any worse for wear, so I'm just gonna throw it back in there and slide this back in. Yeah, so I was looking on Spotify to find a different playlist than the ones I usually play, and what is this one called, like Dark Wave or some shit? But man, it's got a lot of a pleasing amount of type O on there, so I'm digging this. All right, come on. Alright. Get out a paper towel so I can kind of swab lube as I go through this. Where did my syringe go? Alright. So yeah, let's lube up. Let's give myself a little squirt here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do that second. I'm going to put these in first. So, as you know, I usually like to apply a good little gloop right in there. And then once I install the wires, I'll kind of, you know, move it around and add a little more here or there if I need to. But yeah, let me do that. Put the silencing ring on, and then we'll get the wires lubed, install them, and give it a little another dab if I think they need it. Okay. Alright, so I can set the silencing rings aside because this should be the last one of those that I'll need. Oh, shit. Of course, I set it down, just barely touching the lube. Alright. Yeah, BA's been releasing a ton of, I mean, you know, all sorts of cool stuff. I'm in Austin, and he's not, you know, he's here in Texas. And so he's come out to several of the local mini meets and stuff that we've done here in town, and brought, you know, I've gotten to play with like the OSA V2 and the numpad, and what's the other one? Strika or something? I don't know. There was another one that, or mini, or yeah, there's another board that he's done that he had out there as well. But man, yeah, Texas has like a pretty cool, you know, number of keyboard builders. So there's been several, and they, you know, a few of them have done Topre stuff. So I've enjoyed that. I have the pleasure of owning a Live Oak, and I have a second one unassembled that I need to get to working on, because I've got some cool plans with that as soon as my I don't know, I'm waiting on a few things to show up, but then I want to build that one up as well. Yeah, man, Texas keyboard builders. I'd love to see more Topre coming out of Texas. But yeah, with people like BA and Chan, and I'm trying to remember if is the Minier the fruit board, or is that a fruit one? I think I don't remember if that has an EC kit or not, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did. Yeah, SoCal as well, for sure. I mean, they're both big states, so there's a lot of people, and there's a lot of nerds. Like, oh, son of a bitch. Just dropped my wire. Damn it. Excuse me, I gotta go dig around on the ground real quick. Hell yeah, Kiko. What's up? Alright. Found the wire. Got a little dusty going down there, so we're gonna do this again, and hopefully not drop it this time. Are you fucking kidding me? Alright, it's these tweezers. I just sent that one again. Dude, I'm having a hard time. Nice, you're demolding? Oh man, yeah, I cannot freaking wait to see those noir caps. Like, I've been so looking forward to that shit. And I'm debating what board I want to try them on. So I've got a couple boards in mind, but I don't know. We'll see. I am really wondering how they will look on the upcoming brown S60 V2 that I have shipping. Like, yeah, I don't know. I think that could be interesting with the brown and black, but yeah, I don't know. I've got some ideas. I got a few more in mind that would be kind of cool. I am curious as far as the interference issues, if I'm going to run into anything in a, if I put them in a live oak, because if I recall, I think the ones that the prototypes you sent me, I did have some issues with the palm, just because of like the palm machined plate is a little bit thicker, but yeah, we'll see. Alright, I think these all... I don't know why I was sending that last one like that, but okay. These are gripping a little better. I just want to make sure I've got at least a good light coating on there of everything that'll come in contact with plastic. And then, yeah, we'll just install this. So slide the top in, bring it down, lift that into place, and just pop it in. Alright, cool. There's one. I'll go ahead and get the other one knocked out real quick, and then we'll do any touch-ups that I might need. So yeah, my theory as far as lubing, Topre 2U stabs, spacebar stabs, etc., is I try to get the lube anywhere that metal has the potential to contact the plastic. So, anywhere on the metal, the wire that would be touching plastic, so where it goes into the clips, where it kind of goes into these channels here, where it goes, into the, the 2U, into the 2U slider itself, as well as I try to add, good dab of lube anywhere that the wire might want to go. So, I think of like where the wire slides in that channel. Oh, and I guess I'm shooting this one too. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time gripping these right now. But so I make sure that there's enough around it that like where it would potentially rattle, instead there's lube there. But I really try not to get the lube any plastic to plastic interface. So I don't lube like the sides. Some people like, lubing up, kind of those interface points like that. I don't really mess with that. I don't mind the plastic on plastic, and in a lot of my builds, I actually will use RO59, which is like a dry lubricant that you put on and then let it cure, and the suspension medium that carries it evaporates, so you just kind of have this like dry coating left back behind. But I really don't, I really don't lube the slider part itself, because the Topre Shuff is really not too bad. All right. So yeah, so you think of like, that's it fully compressed. As you go up and it slides, like where the wire moves, I think of that space, and then I try to kind of, fill that area, the limit of its movement with lube. So I kind of go in there, I'll squirt it in, and then I'll use my brush to kind of make sure that like it's, touching up on those plastic parts, that it's not, doesn't have any kind of potential to displace from there. And then I'll go back and use a clean brush and just remove it from any of those like plastic surfaces that might come down on the PCB, or that might, displace it and move it to another surface. So, I don't know. Might be a little bit of a tedious process, but it works for me. It keeps my stabs sounding decent without, making them feel too sluggish or anything, which is, in my experience, what typically happens when you use like a thicker lube, like your stab lube, and happen to get it on that plastic to plastic contacts. So, I don't know. Everyone's got their own theory of how much lube you should use in a Topre board, and I try to make sure that I use enough and not anymore. There we go. Alright. So I think those are good. I'm going to go ahead and do the space bar, and then we can start installing domes, which I think is probably going to be one of the quicker parts of this build. Yeah, Kiko, that's right. Thank you. It did cause binding issues. Thank you. So we'll see. I may try some things to see if I can alleviate that, including some potentially destructive things, because I do have two spare integrated housing plates for my live oaks. So like, just in case, you know, I might be able to kind of do a little bit of sanding or do a little playing around and make them work. Because, you know, as good as I think they would look in a brown S60 V2, I really, really think they would look like absolutely sick in a black live oak. Or I guess it's kind of more of a charcoal, but you know what I mean. Like, I think that would be awful nice. So we'll see. Alright. So I got that. Now, this is a little easier because I don't have to grip it with the dang tweezers. And let me go ahead and start on this guy here. Because the spacebar stab wire is considerably longer. So, yeah, let me squeeze out a little bit more lube. And again, on these, I try to lube, you think of like where the wire goes. I try to lube that interface. So I try to lube where it clips in, so pretty much from about here to about here, a little bit around that corner, and then like this part of the wire, like up here and around these edges. So because of where they, where they slide into these. And similarly on these, I kind of fill that void right there with lube, where these will press in. And then once it's installed, I will go in there with a brush and kind of remove any excess so that I'm not like imprinting it on the PCB or anything once it's all buttoned up. Because yeah, that's definitely something you want to avoid. Like I know some people out there like lubing their PCB and feel that it solves problems, and if it does solve a problem for you and your board, like more power to you. But I feel like it causes more problems for me than it solves. Like I'm not really like, I don't feel like I've ever fixed anything with it. Oh man, I just noticed this wire is a little bit bent. So I'm trying to see if I have my, I don't know if you can see this side here is like a little off. That one's not so bad. I feel like I've got the one of those Geon tools for wire balancing. I'll dig through my bag of keyboard crap, see if I can find one. I swear it's in here somewhere. Okay, cool. So yeah, so I'm just using one of these like wire balancing tools to try to straighten out that little bend at the end there, which actually this is doing the trick. So once again, kudos to Geon for solving a problem I have. In fact, since I'm working on this, I might as well go ahead and tweak this one as best I can too. All right. Yeah, it's a little better. I feel like they're a little more in line. And honestly, with Topre stuff, like, if the wire is a little tweaked, it's not really the end of the world. Like, it's not. I don't feel like it's as finicky as MX with regards to if your wire isn't like perfectly balanced. So I tend not to worry about it too much unless it's like visibly obvious that there's just something funky going on. And I got to reapply the lube because I did probably wipe off my tool when I'm done, but I'll worry about that later. AKA forget about it and put it away all dirty. Alright. Okay. So I think we're back on with this. Now we just got to install these guys, which if I recall correctly, they come from the top. And where is that little nub? Okay. So there's one of them in. Okay. So sorry, I'm having to kind of hold the board vertically because these install from the bottom. And so I don't want them to fall out. Alright, there we go. So I think that'll work. And then yeah, you just kind of like angle that guy in and drop it down where it needs to go. And it, whoop, and I missed one of them. Damn it. Alright. Yeah, I feel like these housings are slightly different than the OEM ones, and that with the OEM ones, they've got like a little ledge for this, like, I don't know what you'd call it. There's like a little part of the slider part of these that like sticks out on the side, and it's got like a little edge that like perches on a ledge in the housing so that they don't fall through as easily. But I guess these the slider has it, but it doesn't look like the housing has the part that it latches to. So yeah, so that does make installing them slightly more tedious than like OEM, but again, not the end of the world. Come on, fucker, pop in. There we go. All right. Okay, so that's in. It did displace some of that lube, so that's when I go in here with the brush. Make sure that it stays in where it needs to be and isn't like getting into those places where it could get on the plastic and make them, you know, sluggish. Actually, that's not too bad, but I do want to go in there with a clean brush and just dab just a little bit of it out of this channel right here. Sorry. I'm sorry if I keep getting my head in the way from the camera. I'm a caveman. I'm not great with setting these things up, which means you get to see my shiny dome as I'm like staring down into my board. But hey, I guess that means that, you know, if I lean over far enough, you can tell I have a tattoo on the back of my head as well. I apologize. I've been not even paying attention to my chat. What's up, Gantz? Yeah, so you said, yo, Jason, I've seen on Discord that you bought a SIP PCB on AliExpress. Was wondering if you had any issues with the PCB not registering the key press on the far right and left sides of the PCB. I have not. I've not had that problem. And that's a bummer to hear. But, yeah, no, that's... I've not. Did you do the, yeah, you may have gotten a limit. I did get, actually... So I bought 3 of the PCBs from them, and I think I have a total of 5 of the daughter boards, just because like 2 of them I bought with the original ones, and then I, you know, bought replacement daughter boards for them when they came out with the hub ones. And one of my hub ones did come with components not soldered on to the PCB that were on the other ones. So there is, you know, potentially some QC issues at play. But yeah. Well, thank you, Filthy Fred. That's awful kind of you. Alright, what am I missing? So, yeah, so those are on, those are lubed. Alright, I guess it is time to fuck with these domes. So I am going to go ahead and install the 65. I've been back and forth thinking about it in my mind this whole time, but we're doing it. I really want to experience the new. And, you know, we've had 35s. Oh, sorry. We've had 35s. We've had 45s. 65 is something we have not had before. Now, I do need to find where the fuck I put the other ones. I thought I had just set them over here, but they're not where I thought I put them. So, what the hell, dude? Alright, well fuck, I said I was going to do those, and now if I can't find the strips, that's going to make it tough. Alright. One moment, I may have knocked something off the table. Yeah, well, either I or my cats knocked them off the table, but I found them. All right. So yeah, so unlike desk keys, because every manufacturer wants to do things different, there's no standardization in color. So desk keys, Tiffany's are the lightest dome they have at 35 gram. PBB, Tiffany domes are the heaviest dome they have at 65 gram. Now they're easy to tell apart because they did this with their domes, so they put them in 2 sheets for their alpha. So here we'll install. Let's see. I'm trying to remember. Okay, ready? Install 40 domes. Boom. Boom. There we go. 40 domes installed in like 2 freaking seconds, and they're all straight. And man, do that with Densys. Like Densys, I love you. I like your stuff. But man, doing 1 at a time versus doing 20 at a time, no comparison. Now, if these domes suck, then, I'll still be using the Densys stuff. But hey, if these domes don't suck, this makes installation a whole lot easier. Right, Rubber Dom? Yeah, that was way easy. And, between that and the strips, I feel like I can knock this out pretty quick. So yeah, let me, grab my shears and start snipping. So that is one thing I noticed on these, and one downside is, unlike the Des and the Densys stuff, there is no score lines for cutting. Now it's pretty easy to figure it out because you just cut down the middle of the void, but it would have been a lot easier if they would have put score lines on it, which other folks do. So there is some precedent for it. They just didn't. All right. So we'll see how cleanly I can cut these out. So I think that's all the the strips as far as that goes. Everything else is just a 1U. So yeah, so that's where you got to be careful and make sure that I cut these right as best I can. I already there we go. All right. So we need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 more. Alright. Oh, 12 more. Sorry. Or maybe what I should do is I should just cut these out and then install them rather than doing them 1 at a time. That might be a little more efficient. Sorry, I'm kind of doing this off screen a little bit. I'm not doing too bad. Alright, so that wasn't too bad. Some of these I didn't cut the straightest, but because they're really all just being used as 1U, most of which aren't next to something else, that's not a big problem. As long as, yeah, no, these will be fine. Alright. So yeah, there you go. As far as oh shit, did I just get raided? Man, see, this is what happens when I'm not even paying attention. I look away for 2 seconds and I just got raided by Shinshin Wong. What's up? Hey, Shonies. Hey. Oh man. What's up, Kimlin? Dude, dang, everyone's coming in. So good to see you. Thanks, Patty. This is awesome. Koala, Kev. Holy crap, man. Yeah, good to see y'all. So yeah, so we're welcome. I apologize, I still haven't set up any of like the bot commands or any of that shit. So I am rebuilding my M0110. That's the the one that kind of looks like the old Mac. And I just got I'm doing well. Yeah, good to see you guys. I am trying out their new dome. So they just came out with the V3 of their dome, which comes in sheets. So in like 2 seconds with like pop, I was able to install 40 alpha domes all perfectly straight. And then I just had to cut up 3 strips to catch the other little dozen domes around the perimeter. So yeah, the dome installation was super quick. Additionally, they've got the new 2U parts and the new stabilizer parts and other stuff. So yeah, they've been blowing and going and releasing EC stuff. And I swear, every generation is improved. Like they even fixed their I think over like the 2 months that they've been available, they've already revised and fixed their 2U slider housings. The first gen ones had kind of those annoying crowns on them, and the new ones are like trimmed down, so they hopefully will not cause the same interference. GMK extended 2048. I'll have to look into that. Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one. So all right, so that's it for domes. But they also. Yeah, here we go. They also came out with new springs, which, as far as the aftermarket springs, just looking at them, these look like the most consistent aftermarket conical springs I've seen. They, I mean, for one, each one looks like the next. They don't have, they're like I've seen kind of some issues with springs from other folks where like the end of the spring will be cut and kind of have a little bit of a, sorry my focus isn't working, have a little bit of a barb that like catches on the I don't know, the coil above it and can make some noise. These look perfect. So yeah, like as far as aftermarket springs go, these are the best ones, just appearance wise, the best ones I've seen. They also are like, even though they're all nested, like they're coming apart really easy. So yeah, the first one I touched, and kind of as I work through these, I'm feeling it a little bit. They do feel like they may have a little bit of a lube, and I don't know if that's like just a byproduct of the manufacturing process or what, but I feel like it is helping kind of, separate these because they're popping right apart. This is nice. Yeah, no weird cutoff on the end. So that is an improvement over some of the other aftermarket spring makers product. So yeah, I'm pretty. I gotta say, I am super stoked watching the progression of these PBB parts between one rev to the other. I mean, I think that this is only their second rev of spring, and looking at them, they are freaking nailing it on the springs. This is their third rev of domes, and each one they fixed an issue with the previous one and improved them. So like, I don't know. I've got high hopes. Yeah, these. I mean, just the fact that I can like take these and just pull them apart. These are probably look at that, just pop apart. This is so far the most satisfying aftermarket spring experience I've had for any of the EC part makers. I think the only thing that could make this easier is if they like had some kind of like a foam box or something that individually packed the dome so you didn't even have to like separate them. But yeah, so far this is nice. Alright, there we go. There's the first ones that are actually like, I mean, I was about to say the first ones that were tangled, but then I just went like that, popped those two apart, went like that and pulled it off of this stack of 3. And yeah, dude, they're just like coming apart. Look at that. I am still like giving each one the bail eye because they are really easy to like accidentally double stack a pair of springs. But again, like they're coming apart. All right, PBB, your so far your springs are getting the thumbs up because these are nice to work with. Yeah, look at that. Just like those two springs just came right apart. Oh. I guess I should be more careful. I keep bumping some of these domes, but again, like this stuff, you really can't like knock these loose. So if you've had the pleasure of building one of the densest boards or building like, you know, any other EC board with densest parts, you know that, you know, I don't know what it was that was on theirs. I feel like there's some kind of again, like a mold release or, you know, some kind of lubing or something, but dealing with the springs, dealing with the individual domes was not as easy. And I can say the same with, you know, the desk keys springs. Like, when you get a box of desk keys springs, pulling them apart is not always the most fun. And their springs are not this consistent. Like, as far as, like, the cuts, like, the line, like, everything on these look pretty good. So, yeah, sorry, I guess short story long, Gantz. No weird cut on the end. 100% PBB. The only thing on this that I'm putting on this board that is not PBB is the lube, which I think this one came from Ringer Keys, and the keycaps, which are just like a nice PBT cheapo Cyrillic set. So yeah, but man, these are yeah, the springs, sliders, domes, stabs, plate, case, PCB, everything is all PBB parts. So I am these Tiffany colored ones here. These are the 65. And I'm not 100% that I'm going to stick with these, but I wanted to try them out because 65 is a unique weight as far as Topre, you know, EC, aftermarket, OEM, whatever. Like, I don't think anyone else makes an actual 65. I think there's like a 63 weight. I think the Browns are 63 from Des, and the Carrots are 60. And there's several 55s. But yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think BKE Heavy is like 70 gram. And then Extremes are like 95 gram. But like, as far as, you know, yeah, 65. These are unique. Yeah, heavy dome. I've been digging heavies. Now I say that with a board built with V2 Des Pinks in front of me, but you know, tax season just hit. I got all my W2s and, you know, this and that, and so I busted out my my show snipe with the green domes, and I kept it out for, you know, several days because I was really digging on typing on the V1 greens. So yeah, I kind of started to go back to enjoying the heavier end of the spectrum again. All right, as well as aged domes. Like, two of the boards that I was typing on recently were both from they were 2006 Pro 2s, so, you know, kind of on the older, heavier end of the spectrum. All right. So what's that? That's it for springs. We're just gonna kind of give it the once over, make sure everything is straight. And honestly, they look pretty good. Again, like, you know, with one use, oftentimes you'll have like one or two that are off, and then you'll go and like adjust those one or two. Okay. And then they'll knock, you know, they'll jostle into the ones around it, which will then, you know, you adjust those, and they jostle into the ones around it, and it's like you're back and forth. But when you only have two sheets to put in, and then, you know, a dozen or so little one use here and there, like, dude, that was easy. All right, so that's everything. I think we're good there. Now the fun part, because there are no real, like, standoffs or alignment pins or anything, this is the tricky part. And I try to do this without bumping the ones on the edge, because I want to make sure everything stays in alignment. But at the same time, I also want to make sure that, like, the holes line up. Alright. Actually, that's pretty good. So yeah, we're going with that. And again, there are, what was it? I think we counted 29 of these little M1.6 screws holding it in, which means since there is, you know, a standoff with screws on the other side, that is, what is that? 56 screws just for the plate to PCB. So yeah, if you don't like screwing things in, then perhaps the aftermarket Topre stuff from these guys is not for you. But if you don't mind screwing things in, I mean, I think what's that? 56 plus 6 plus 2. So what, I think there's like 64 screws in this thing when all is said and done. Yeah. So it is, you know, if you like to screw, buy this board. I don't know, as much of a Topre head as I am, I've been having a lot of fun doing some MX hot swap build boards because, oh my god, not having to screw in everything, not having to like unscrew everything because one switch isn't acting 100%, kind of nice. That said, Topre is my love. So I always come back to the rubber dome, even if I type on a, who doesn't mind screwing something every now and then? That's what I'm saying. Like, hey, dude, it's a Sunday night. It's 1:30 in the morning here, almost. Why wouldn't I be screwing? What else is there to do? There. But still, 29 per side, just for the PCB and plate. Little excessive, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure there's a reason for each and every one of these screws. Alright. But once we get them in, then it's just a matter of, you know, flipping it over, pushing some buttons to make sure that everything feels okay. And then it just goes right back in the case. You know, maybe before screwing every single one of these, I should flip it over and give it some pushes. So I'm just going to do a couple, make sure that at least the edges are supported and the center is supported. And then I'm going to go ahead and flip it over and start pushing on these sliders to see what 60 gram or 65 gram feels like. Alright. I think that's enough to get an idea. So, yeah, so that's what I've been working on. This is the other side of it. So it is an HHKB. This plate and this, you know, the PCB are designed for just a regular 60, so you can get it with a, what's that, Zangan layout, I guess. But I like the blockers. I like HHKB, so I don't fuck with that shit. I get rid of those keys. But yeah, let's here, just a little. Jesus, these feel fucking heavy. These feel more than 65. I feel like, oh man, yeah, all right. All right, those are kind of tough. Yeah, I don't know. You know what? I'm going to go with it just because I do want to give it a fair shake. But yeah, okay, so there is, you know, there is some tactility, but it is a rounded dome. They just kind of feel heavy all the way up and down. Like, even after the break, that is one thing that's interesting about these. Is I feel like with, like, most Topre, you know, you have heaviness to the break, and then they kind of depress. These feel heavy all the way down. So that's something a little bit different than most of the Topre switches. And I'm kind of wondering if that's going to... Okay, so, yeah, here. There we go. I forgot I had this on the desk, but I was doing my taxes the other day. This is my my extreme numpad. So This has BK Extremes in it. Those are 95 gram domes. But like when you press on them here, it's like you're pressing and then it breaks. Pressing and it breaks. You know, so like the tactility, it's heavy, but once it goes past the break point, it just drops. So there's not like, you know, from about that point, there's no resistance here. Like there's really very little resistance in that part of the key press. With these, like I'm pushing resistance. Like here, I mean, it's resistance. Yeah, those are interesting. It is resistance all the way down. Okay, so this is very, very different. So you find heavy domes make the snappiness go away. So you would think that, but a lot of heavy domes don't. Like, you know, these are more that BKE style. These still have that snappiness to them. Like, these are fun to type on. Like, they hit a point and then they break. And so, you know, those are kind of fun. These are a little different. I'm still going to go ahead and finish building the board with these domes in it, because I'm really curious what this is going to feel like for, like, an actual day of use. But I already kind of think I might not be sticking with them. But again, you know, I want to give them a shot. They're interesting. They're definitely interesting. Whether or not I'll like them is, you know, we'll see. Oh yeah, it kind of does. No, so this came with this was one of the Milky Way's Heresy desk mats. So they had like 3 of them. One was like skulls. One kind of had like, I feel like it's like kind of like a hellscape triptych, kind of Hieronymus Bosch loosely inspired with little demons and stuff on it. And this one, you know, is just kind of the, you know, burning church type deal. So I built up my evil board recently with the with those caps. I got some of the B stock caps, and figured I'd bust out the desk mat to match. But yeah, it kind of does give off that vibe, doesn't it? So yeah, like you're, you know, like you're saying, Vendasora, that like Age Pro 2 domes are heavy, but they break. These don't have that same break, so I will probably find these less satisfying over prolonged use than something that has that break. I like the BK style. Like some people like, you know, the rounded style, and I do enjoy like the rounded OEM style as well, but like that BK style, those slanted domes, like I like Carrots. I like BKE Redux. Like I like those domes that kind of have that little bit more tactility, but then break to a drop. And so yeah, this is different. Back to desk keys you go. Yeah, I mean, I know, you know, if it was you or if it was someone else mentioning that they recently paid an arm and a leg for desk keys parts, but dude, like, they're expensive, but they're worth it. And I understand that as a completely subjective statement. But I mean, I'd rather pay $20 for something I like than $10 for something that I'll dislike and, you know, uninstall and throw in a box and never use again. So like the desk key stuff, yeah, it's pricey, but it really does hit for me. Now, ideal situation is, you know, one of these, you know, vendors that has a little bit more affordable product. To, like, you know, still release good product at a better price point. That would be nice. I mean, I love Des, and I don't want to, you know, I don't want to see anything happen. And I know he's got, you know, the Topre stuff is a minor part of his business, but yeah, open tops forever. I'm with you on that, Kiko. You know, I like Carrots, I like closed top, but like the BKE Redux, the original BKE, like I've got those in one of my heavy grails, and dude, I love them. All right, so that's put together. All 56 screws are screwed. Just got in. What are the 2Us? So no, these are, everything in this right here, everything I'm holding in my hands is from PBB. So these are the ones that are sold from that SZR store on AliExpress. Yeah, the sliders are really nice. I feel like these are, you know, they're pretty good. And I don't know, we'll see about the other domes. I really liked the last domes of theirs that I used. Like, they weren't bad. I went with the BKE style ones in this build, with the 45 gram ones, and they felt really good. They weren't bad. So yeah, let's grab the chassis components. plug this in, throw it together, and then I think we will call it a night. So I gotta wake up for work tomorrow. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I don't remember which one of these plugs is the correct one to plug in. There's like one going sideways and one up and down. And I'm sure I could look at SIPS stuff online to see, but I'm just taking a shot. Let's hope I don't burn out my board. All right. So yeah, let me where's my other cable? Sorry guys, my desk is a mess right now. I've not been it's been a bit since I've streamed, so I got shit all over the place. Okay. Let me just make sure this works before we get too far. Let me bring up a keyboard tester. Okay. Alright, so that's good. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, duh. I forgot shift takes the focus off, so there we go. Alright. What just happened? Okay. Well, that's not cool. Whoa! Alright. That thing just went fucking nuts. What is going on here? That was like actuating everything on the keyboard. Okay. Oh, jeez. Yeah, alright. It was the cable pressing on my other keyboard. I was like, why the fuck is that going off? Sorry, guys. That was me. That's my fault. I'm getting a little loopy here. It's time to finish my beer. Yeah, I was like, shit, did a spring get stuck? What's going on here? And it was my my cable pressing down on my spacebar, because these are Desk Pink V2. So, dude, I really like the purple parts. I was kind of thinking about swapping out to the purple sliders, and then I forgot till I was like 3/4 of the way through them, and I didn't want to go back. Like we'd gone too far at that point. But yeah, maybe if I rebuild this again with other domes, I'll go ahead and swap out the sliders too, because I do like this purple color. I really like it. All right, let me get off of that so I stop making annoying noises at everybody. Okay, so let me get this lined up. And these are, I will say, these, I don't remember what kind of foam this is called, but it is super freaking soft. I'm probably gonna. That's another thing I do want to do at some point with this this setup, is I will probably be replacing Sheesh. Okay, I don't want to rip that off. Yikes! All right, forgot how short that cable is. Replacing the foam. So yeah, they're not. I don't know, they've got a lot of squish, and I feel like maybe a bit too much squish. Jeez. Alright. Yeah, well, whatever. They're not like... I don't know. It's different. I'm used to typing on Tobre boards, so I'm really not used to like all this gasket mounted stuff. So I'm fully willing to accept that maybe it's just my perception, and like that's just what it feels like. But I don't know. It feels really soft. Silicone gaskets would probably feel better. Yeah, I'll have to. I may have to try that. All right. So yeah, so I guess there's 6 in the case, 2 in the 2 in the daughter board, and then 56 in the plate to PCB kind of build. So yeah, there's 64 screws in this thing. There's 1 screw for every keycap, and 4 extra. So yeah, that's like I said earlier, you know, if you like screwing, this is the build for you. Cool. Well, that's that. So let's go ahead and throw some caps on this thing. I feel like that's fairly decently centered. Maybe I should have thrown some caps in the corners and just looked at it to make sure. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. Oh yeah, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Cool, 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 cool. Okay. Yeah, let me scoot that guy out of the way. So I mean, I gotta say, like, there are some caveats on this kit. You know, I know I'm hammering on the point, but the number of screws, the fact that there are 64 screws in this kit seems a bit much. But that said, it's $113. And that comes with, you know, the housing, the plate, the PCB, all the sliders, all the domes, all the housings, all the springs, like, you know, the daughter board, the cable, like literally everything but the caps. And I don't think they ship them with the silencing rings. But you know what, man, if you reached out to them, like if you bought one of these things for $113 and hit them and be like, yo, I'd love to get some silencing rings for that, I'll bet they would throw some in the bag. Like every order I've made with them, they've thrown in something or other. So like, yeah, I don't know. Like I you know, I feel like for so long Topre has been the realm of, you know, expensive. I mean, you know, your base HHKB is what, like $200 nowadays? Like, you know, yeah, you can get cheaper ones from Japan. You can, you know, go to the aftermarket, buy used, what have you. But really, like, it's, you know, I don't feel like there's been something that was EC that had a price point this low. I mean, I guess there's NIS, but even NIS is expensive now. Like, I was looking at a NIS board, and I think it was like over $300 for the NIS board that I was looking at. I'm like, man, if I'm going to spend $300, why not spend less and just get myself like a, you know, another HHKB? But yeah, all right, so yeah, so nice. So it's high up enough, like there's no cap to board. I was worried about these, you know, these screws that go through the plate, because there's really, the hole isn't countersunk, but there's plenty of space between the keycap and that. Now these are nice PBT caps, so it may be different with, you know, I could try cherry and some other caps on here, but I just, you know, this is, you know, again, I'm going with a cheap set that I bought, you know, off of AliExpress. Like, this is the budget board build, so my Cyrillic, you know, die sub, I don't remember if it's Nice PBT or Enjoy PBT, one of those companies, but yeah, I think these are like $40 or something. So again, this is an under $200 build. I mean, honestly, it's probably under like $170 build, including shipping, for everything, for, you know, VIA compatible. Like, I mean, here, I can, yeah, let's, let me finish with the caps, and then I'll play around with it a little. But like, it's, for what it is, you know, you put up with a little bit of tedium, but man, it is awesome. Now, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this build to, like, you know, if I had like a, you know, a nephew or a niece who was into Topre. Like, I think it might be a little bit much for, you know, for them, but man, for your average, you know, keyboard nerd, someone that doesn't mind having to keep track of 300 parts, like, you know, if you can build a Lego kit, you can build this thing. It's really not that bad. All right. And now that they've got the 2U and you don't have to, like, deal with CoStar anymore, yeah, it's nice. This is not, I mean, dude, here, hold hold on. That space bar. All right, let me pause the cure over here. Get rid of my cat. Yeah, like here. Yeah, it's not bad, right? There's a little bit of that shuff, but I didn't. So normally, most of my builds, I RO59 the sliders. I decided not to on this one because I really do want the, like, you know, budget out of box using their parts. I mean, I did lube my, you know, my 2Us and my spacebar stabs, but like, there's no other lube in this thing. Like, these are straight plastic on plastic, and like, it's really not bad. And I'm not hearing any kind of, yeah, like, it's not really any spring ping, like, now it is like the, yeah, I was trying to put, you know, what Neko was saying, because I know they've already tried these domes, and they were an instant yeet for them. So they are heavy, like that full press through heavy is weird and is different than most Topre that I've built. But again, you know, I'm going to give it a try. So, all right. So let me plug it in. See, it's still not 2 o'clock, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and, you know, fire up a typing test. I'm probably gonna bomb it miserably, because this does feel very different than most of my Topre boards. But let's mess around here. Hold on. Where did I put my browser? Sorry guys, I'm just a mess over here. Is it monkey type? Yeah. Alright, sorry, let's try to get the shit out of the way so I can actually see the words. Here, I'm gonna get my fancy wrist rest out. Yeah, let you see my browser. Okay. Whoa! What the hell? Oh! God damn it, I did it again. Okay, yeah, so I keep pressing the spacebar on this thing and just screwing everything up. Alright, let me, how do I restart? Tab, enter? Okay. Damn, yeah, I totally bombed that one. Alright, let me okay, so, you know, I'm already hitting my, you know, I normally hit around 100. Honestly, the fact that I hit 100 on a stream, I'm feeling pretty good, because, like, I don't know, I feel like my streams, I'm normally hitting like 95 or so. So, yeah, getting over 100 on, you know, second shot on this board, it does feel different, but it's not bad, and it sounds good. It sounds really good. Like, I'm really, like, I'm happy with you know, the feel and sound of this. Now, the heaviness is weird. Like, I'm with you there, Neko. It is definitely different. But I don't think it's an insta-yeet for me. I honestly, like, and I just realized my AC is running, so I'm sure I'm just, like, totally blowing my sound test here. But I hope you guys get the idea. Like, this is, you know, for under $130 shipped, like, I am not at all mad at this board. So yeah, I'm really happy. So I like it. Like, honestly, even like the heaviness of it, the key press, I feel like it kind of even goes with like the theme of my board. Like, I feel like, you know, in Soviet Russia, keyboard types U. Like, this one, you know, when you hit the keyboard hits back. So yeah. Yeah, their 35 gram sheet feels much heavier than stated 35 gram. Yeah, so again, 65 probably feels heavier than that. I could go dig out my stack of nickels, but I'm not gonna. I'll catch up with you guys on the Discord. But I like it. I like it. I'm trying to think of any of the improvements I don't like. So, you know, like the fact that this doesn't interfere, like, that's great. That's really fucking good right there. That's really fucking good right there. Like, dude, it's good. Yeah, they're good. The purple spacebar stabs, they were a bit tight in the plate. In fact, I broke one of them. When I was installing them, I had to press so hard it actually cracked one. So that was a bummer. Yeah. So the clip, like, look at that. I actually snapped it off because I was really I was putting some elbow grease into it, and I probably pushed a little too hard. I should have pulled it out and rethought about that. Now, to be fair, that does not at all modify the functionality of it. So, like, I probably could have left that installed in, and where the wire and the slider goes, it would not have, like, impacted it at all. But, I'm still going to reach out to the PBB folks and be like, yo, this was my experience, because, yeah. OEM, oh, that's a good question. Do I have an OEM one around? Give me just a minute. I think, yeah. Give me just a second. That's a good question. Yeah, I don't have an OEM one handy right now. Within arm's reach. Yeah, these are all MX. So catch me on Discord tomorrow, or whatever. I will go dig those out of my closet. I'm not gonna right now, and we're getting close to 2:00, which is when I told myself I would wrap up. So yeah, I think we're yeah, we'll have to answer that one another day. Sorry, Neko, but I will catch back up with you and we will find out. But that would be nice. Yeah, we'll see. All right, so I think, is there anyone else on right now who's... Oh, CG Buen's gone. All right, so let's... Is there anybody else? Thrash and Tony, Keyboard Chores, Task Night, merch giveaway. All right, let's... Yeah. Let's raid Tony. Hey, guys, thank you all. Thanks for joining me. I had a blast. Had a good Posy stream. That was a lot of fun. We got to play with some new parts, got to experience a different feel, which, in Topre, I feel like there's weight differences, there's a little bit of tactility differences. This is a different dome. Like, it's not different like Extremes, but it's a different dome. So definitely check this one out. All right, so I'm trying to remember how to do this. Is it /raid? Yep, okay. Thrash and Tony. Round tactile or sharp tactile? These are, so there is tactility to them, but like heavy tactile. I don't know how you would call it. It's different. They are rounded domes. Like if you look at the profile of these domes, they are the OEM style, like, rounded. And again, my camera sucks. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so they're rounded. They have a bit of an indent on the top. The inside has the depression, but no, like, indent like the desk keys ones does, to kind of register the spring. But honestly, they're not really needed. Like, the springs fit in these just fine. They didn't stick up like the first run of springs they did. Yeah, they're nice. But they're definitely like it's like where you think about, like, a normal Topre dome, where it's like you'd get to this point and then it would break and drop. or even with like, you know, the BKE style ones where it's even faster drop, like these are heavy all the way through the press. So even like when you go past that, like where the tactility event registers, they're still heavy for this part of the press. So this is a different beast, and whether it be like the thickness of the sidewalls, I'll have to play around with these a little bit and figure out what's going on with them. But like, they're different. They're kind of cool. All right, so I'm gonna raid Thrash and Tony. Thank you guys. I appreciate y'all joining. You know, I think that's all I got to say. Fuck bigotry, and I will catch you guys next time. Y'all rule. 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're raiding. All right, adios, y'all.